Listen up, men. I'm about to reveal the questions that will expose her secrets instantly. No more guessing, no more wondering. If you felt that sinking feeling in your gut, like something's off, it's time to trust your instincts. In the next few minutes, I'll share 7 direct questions that will make her guilt unravel faster than she can lie about it. If you've been blindsided before, this video is for you. But before we dive in, hit that subscribe button, like this video, and let me know in the comments, what city are you watching from? Let's see how far the truth really spreads. Question 1. Where were you last night? Her stories don't add up. You know that feeling. The one where you ask a simple question and her answer doesn't sit right. It's too clean, too rehearsed, almost like she's been practicing it in front of the mirror. Well, here's the thing, men. When you ask, "Where were you last night?" and she tells you a story that sounds perfect at first, but then you ask again a few days later, the cracks start to show. The details don't line up. Let's break this down. A woman who's telling the truth won't hesitate. She'll recount the evening with clarity. I was with Sarah at the restaurant. We had dinner, then we went to her place to watch a movie. The facts won't change because they're consistent with reality. But when she's hiding something, the story begins to unravel. Maybe she tells you, "I went to dinner with Sarah," but when you ask again later, she says, "Oh, wait, it wasn't Sarah, I was with Anna." Or maybe she claims she went home right after dinner, but the next time you ask, she casually mentions how she had to stop by a friend's place for just a little while. Here's where it gets interesting. It's not about what she says, it's about how she reacts when you ask. A woman who's hiding something will feel the need to cover herself up, to fill in the gaps with new, often inconsistent details. And then, this is key, she'll get defensive. "Why are you asking me this again?" she'll say, her tone sharp. "Do you not trust me?" The more defensive she gets, the more you should start questioning the story. It's almost like she's trying to convince herself of the lie, not just you. You're not interrogating her like some police officer. You're just paying attention. It's the little things, the subtle hesitations, the over-explaining. She thinks if she gives you just enough, you won't dig deeper. But remember, truth doesn't need to be rehearsed. So, the next time she tells you one version of the story, ask her again in a different context, at a different time. Does she remember the same details? Does she get defensive? If the answer shifts, or the inconsistencies pile up, you've got your first red flag. But guess what? This isn't the only way she can hide things. The next question will hit even harder. Stay tuned. Question 2. Why didn't you answer my call? The phone that's always too busy. Have you ever called her, only for it to ring and ring with no response? Now, once or twice, sure, it happens. She might be busy or caught up in something. But when this becomes a recurring pattern, you need to pay attention. Ask yourself, why didn't she answer your call? More importantly, why does she always seem to have a new excuse every time? You know the drill. First, it's a harmless, "I was in a meeting," or "I didn't hear my phone." Fine. But when you notice that it happens every time you call, especially during the same hours or days, something's off. The story will start to get longer and more detailed. "My phone was on silent. I left it in the other room. I was driving and couldn't pick up." Suddenly, these explanations are no longer believable. And here's the thing. When someone's telling the truth, their reasons are short, sweet, and to the point. But when they're hiding something, the explanation stretches into a full-blown story. Now, here's where the psychological trick comes in. A guilty woman isn't just trying to cover up missing your call, she's trying to deflect suspicion. You'll notice the tone change. The defensiveness starts to creep in. You ask, "Why didn't you answer?" And her response feels like a full-on interrogation. "Why do you always call me when I'm busy? You don't trust me." This isn't about the missed call anymore. It's about turning the tables on you, making you feel like you're the one with the problem. But there's more. One of the biggest giveaways? Her social media activity. That's right. While your call is being ignored, she's posting photos on Instagram, commenting on other people's posts, or scrolling through TikTok. If she has the time to engage with her followers, why didn't she have a minute to send you a quick text back? Pay attention to the timing. It's not about being controlling, it's about consistency. If you see this pattern, repeatedly unanswered calls, long-winded excuses, and a phone that's constantly buzzing in other ways, you're already seeing the red flags. But hold on, this next question will push her further into a corner. Stick with me. Question 3. Who were you with? Her friends are suddenly vague. You've probably asked her before, who were you with? And in a healthy relationship, that should be a straightforward question with a simple answer. Oh, I was with Sarah and Mark, she'll say. Or, I was out with the girls. Nothing to worry about, right? But what happens when the answer gets a little more elusive? Let me tell you something. If she hesitates, if her face stiffens, or if her answer feels a little too vague, pay attention. The first sign that she's hiding something isn't in the words she says, it's in the way she says them. A woman who's not hiding anything will name names. I was with Susan, Tim, and Joe. We had dinner at that Italian place. Simple, clear, and consistent. But when she's keeping something under wraps, suddenly everyone becomes just a friend or some people from work, details you can't confirm or verify. You'll notice this too. When you ask her, who are you with? And she starts to get uncomfortable, shifting in her seat, or giving you an overly vague answer, it's not an accident. She's avoiding specifics because she knows you might start asking the questions she can't answer. It's the classic deflection technique. Throw the ball back in your court, and if you push a little further, brace yourself. The story starts to change. Maybe she says, I was with some friends, but a few hours later, you hear her mention a specific friend, someone who wasn't part of the original story. Or maybe she acts all casual, as if she's not hiding anything, but you know something doesn't quite add up. Here's the kicker. Pay close attention to how she reacts when you ask about the people she spends time with. If she gets defensive, why do you always need to know who I'm with? Or if she flips the question back on you, why are you so paranoid? You're looking at a classic tactic to divert your attention. She's trying to make you doubt yourself instead of focusing on the fact that she's hiding details from you. But here's the thing. This isn't the only trick she's using to keep you in the dark. The next question will expose something even more suspicious. Stay tuned. Question 4. Why are you so distant lately? Emotional withdrawal is a huge red flag. Have you felt that subtle shift? The emotional distance between you two that wasn't there before? When you ask, why are you so distant lately? And her response is vague or dismissive, something's wrong. She might say, I'm just stressed, or I've got a lot on my mind. But deep down, you know something's changed. When a woman is emotionally invested, you're her priority. But when she starts pulling away, the emotional connection weakens, and you become less of a focus. Her withdrawal doesn't happen overnight, it's gradual. Intimate conversations turn into cold exchanges. She stops asking about your day, avoids eye contact, and when you try to engage, she seems distracted, as if her mind is elsewhere. Here's what's happening. She's distancing herself emotionally because her heart is invested elsewhere. And that's not something to ignore. Emotional distance usually signals that she's finding emotional fulfillment somewhere else. It's easy to brush off. She might claim it's just a phase or that work is stressing her out. But a woman truly connected to you won't shut you out for no reason. Pay attention. If she says, I just need some space, don't let that slide. It may sound harmless, but it's her way of creating room for someone else. This emotional distance isn't a simple mood shift. It's often the first sign of something deeper, something more dangerous, brewing beneath the surface. It's not just a bad day or work stress. Her pulling away is a clear warning that you need to act fast. The next question will expose what's really going on, so stay tuned. Question 5. Can I see your phone for a minute? The instant panic when you ask. It's a simple question, right? Can I see your phone for a minute? But when you ask her, her reaction often says everything. If she's calm, no problem, she hands it over or says, Sure, let me finish this text. But if she suddenly tenses up, her eyes widen, or she acts like you've asked for her PIN number, something's off. A woman who's hiding something will make this innocent request feel like an interrogation. She'll hesitate, clutch her phone tighter, and offer excuses. I'm in the middle of something, or I'm not done with this message. Those are red flags, disguised to make you second-guess yourself. But trust me, this is not normal behavior. Here's the truth. A woman with nothing to hide will have no issue with you glancing at her phone. It's about trust, not control. If her reaction is over the top, it's because she knows exactly what you'll find. Sometimes she might agree, but with conditions. You can see it later, she'll say, but not right now. Why? Because she's not ready for you to see the late-night texts or the secret conversations. Don't fall for the privacy is important excuse. It's one thing to want space, but acting like her phone is a vault full of secrets. That's a problem. And then there's the dramatic outburst. Why would you even ask to see my phone? Don't you trust me? This is manipulation. She's trying to make you feel guilty for asking. But think about it. Why is she so defensive about something so small? This is just the beginning. The more you ask, the deeper the hole she digs. And believe me, the next question will make her squirm even more. Stay tuned. Question 6. Why do you keep criticizing me? She's pushing you away to justify her actions. Have you noticed the sudden shift in her tone? That biting criticism that seems to come out of nowhere. One moment she's sweet, and the next she's tearing you down with words that feel sharp and calculated. Why do you always do this? She asks. Or, you're always so sensitive. This isn't just a bad mood or a stressful week at work. This is a tactic, a way for her to create emotional distance between you and justify her behavior. Here's what's happening. When a woman starts criticizing you more than usual, it's a sign that she's emotionally withdrawing. She's distancing herself, and instead of owning up to her own feelings or guilt, she turns the focus on you. It's almost like she's testing the waters to see how much she can get away with before you start questioning her behavior. When you ask, "Why do you keep criticizing me?" she'll likely brush it off or deflect the blame right back on you. "You're just being too sensitive," she'll say, or "I'm only telling you the truth." This sudden surge of criticism is a defense mechanism. She wants to put you on the defensive so that you start doubting yourself and questioning your own feelings. It's a classic move to make you second-guess what you're seeing and feeling. But here's where it gets even more revealing. The criticism isn't just about trivial things, it's about everything. The way you dress, the way you act, how much attention you give her. It's as if she's pointing out your flaws to make herself feel justified in pulling away. The more she pushes, the more you begin to question whether something else is going on. Could she be using criticism to push you to the point where you don't even notice her emotional absence? This is more than just a temporary phase. The constant criticism, the emotional withdrawal, this is part of her plan. She's trying to create an emotional distance between you, so when the truth eventually comes out, it won't be such a shock to you. But there's one more sign to watch for, one that will leave no room for doubt. The next question will expose it all. Keep watching. Question 7. Why are you so concerned about privacy? When she begins to build walls. Have you ever noticed how private she's become? It's not just about wanting a little space. It's about creating walls that weren't there before. When you ask, "Why are you so concerned about privacy all of a sudden?" and her response is defensive or dismissive, that's your clue. Something is changing, and it's not just her desire for personal space. She's building barriers between you and the truth. At first, privacy might seem harmless. Everyone needs some personal time, right? But when her need for privacy suddenly becomes a fortress, that's a whole different story. She starts locking her phone or tablet when you walk into the room, or she becomes possessive about her social media accounts. It's as if every conversation, every interaction is now off limits. And what's most telling is how she reacts when you bring it up. A woman who's hiding something will become overly defensive. "I just want some space," she might say. "You're being too controlling." The key here is that this shift doesn't happen overnight. It's a gradual thing. First, She spends more time in private spaces, like the bathroom or her bedroom, with her phone glued to her side. She might even change the password or lock her phone when she used to leave it out in the open. Now, you can't even ask to borrow her phone to make a call without her acting like you've just invaded her personal territory. This is the perfect storm: emotional withdrawal, secrecy, and an increasing need for privacy. What's behind these walls? It's not just about personal space anymore. It's about hiding something from you. Whether it's a text conversation, a phone call, or a new relationship she's keeping out of your sight. And it's not just her phone that's off limits. She becomes more private about her day-to-day life too. You ask her where she went, and the answer feels rehearsed or vague. She suddenly doesn't want to share details about her outings, her friends, or even her thoughts. But here's the kicker: privacy like this isn't normal in a healthy relationship. It's a tactic to cover up guilt and deception. She's setting boundaries that make it harder for you to get the truth. See you in the next video.